Alright, so yesterday I made a video using the finalists that were given from the Slammy Awards, and I picked who I think should win each category of the Slammy Awards. So this time I'm going to go in and hand select who I think should not be a finalist and replace them with who I think should be a finalist in each category. Let's get into it. So, we start with Female Superstar of the Year. As you guys saw yesterday, we have Liv Morgan as a finalist, Rhea Ripley as a finalist, Bayley as a finalist, Nia Jax as a finalist, Tiffany Stratton as a finalist, Chelsea Green as a finalist, and Io Sky as a finalist. The one person I think who should not be a finalist this year is Rhea Ripley. So I removed Rhea Ripley and I replaced her with Roxanne Perez. I personally believe Roxanne Perez has had such a good, underrated year this year, being NXT champion twice in this calendar year. I think she's done just a phenomenal job. They've put NXT superstars with the male superstars every so often on the main roster. So I just figured, why not do the same thing with Roxanne Perez? I think Roxanne Perez has had a way better year than Rhea Ripley, so that's why I put took off Rhea Ripley and I left Roxanne Perez. Now we move on to Entrance of the Year. We start with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, Jey Uso at the Raw on Netflix debut, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, The Rock at WrestleMania 40, Bayley at WrestleMania 40, Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin, and Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso outside of Montreal, Canada, and Sami Zayn made a pretty hero welcome through the crowd, basically. It was pretty cool. Sami Zayn walking through Gorilla at WrestleMania 40. He had a moment with his wife and his son, and then he had a moment with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens basically hyped him up to win the match against Gunther. It was a really cool moment. Logan Paul and Machine Gun Kelly. No idea why it's on here. Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan at Bad Blood, and Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Now, I removed Logan Paul and Machine Gun Kelly for Jey Uso at Backlash. Actually, I think I take that back. I removed the Raw debut on Netflix and I replaced it with this Jey Uso entrance. So I left a Jey Uso entrance, but I changed which entrance it is. Backlash, how the hell was this not a finalist on here? This entrance 100% should be one of the finalists, and it wasn't. So for that alone, I replaced the Raw debut on Netflix, which wasn't even that hype of an entrance compared to his Backlash one. So I removed Raw debut on Netflix and I replaced it with the Backlash one. And then for Logan Paul's entrance, I replaced it with Randy Orton in Italy this past Friday night, where holy cow, dude, they were singing so damn loud. So yeah, I give that one to Randy Orton in Italy. Alright, on to OMG moments of the year. We start with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, basically when he won the title from Roman Reigns in the final 5 to 10 minutes of that match, of everybody coming out and then the celebration at the end. I think it was an awesome moment. Then we have Dom betraying Rhea at SummerSlam, Kevin Owens betraying Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes at Bad Blood. We have New Day betraying Big E, Tiffany Stratton cashing in, Damian Priest cashing in, the Wyatt Six debut, Braun Breaker spearing Speed, Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on Braun Strowman on a car, John Cena turning heel, Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam, and Io Sky winning the Women's World Championship from Rhea a couple Mondays ago. Now, I didn't replace anything because I actually think WWE got it right for once. All of those are actually really good OMG moments, so I'm not going to add anything or remove anything. This had a solid list to it, so there's no point in adding more things to it. I think all of them were right, and I think they were all really good OMG moments this year. Now we move on to Faction of the Year. We start with the OG Bloodline, the Judgment Day before Rhea and after Rhea, basically. Before the betrayal, after the betrayal. the new bloodline with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, Alpha Academy, and Damage Control. I almost forgot their name because of how irrelevant they have been this year. I took away the OG bloodline and replaced them with Alpha Academy. Now hear me out. Alpha Academy had a way more interesting summer than what the bloodline, OG bloodline had. Alpha Academy's drama carried on for most of the summer, which is about 3-4 months, and the OG bloodline maybe had a month of being together, being an actual faction. But they weren't really a faction because Roman was never really around all the time. So it really wasn't a faction. So I'm not going to give them a spot on this list when they've barely been a faction. Alpha Academy has been a faction all year, and I think they've done some solid work whenever they're giving screen time. You know, they put on good matches, both of them do. I mean, we just saw the matches against Gunther. Both of them had really good matches. And I'm sure Maxine Dupree would be so much better now than what she was before because she's had some time to get better. So them three, I have a feeling, have a good future ahead of them. But yeah, I'm going to give them the spot because they've done a little bit more than the OG Bloodline. And personally, I believe the OG Bloodline saga with the new Bloodline was kind of a letdown. That wasn't really that great of a feud in my opinion. And so I'm not going to give them a spot when that feud in general was just a letdown. So I don't know. Me personally, I'm not going to give them the spot. And then next, I also replaced Damage Control with the Wyatt Six. Wyatt Six just had such a really good debut, and then the first couple of months, obviously, it was slow. They were very slow with it, but with what they did with them, I gotta say, they did a hell of a lot more with the Wyatt Six than Damage Control has done all year, and that's no slack on Damage Control. Damage Control just has not been a faction this year. They've mostly been injured, so there really hasn't been anything going on. Damage Control this year has been basically a tag team because everyone's been injured. So I don't believe that they deserve to be on this list. So I gave it to the Wyatt Six because their debut was phenomenal. And then they put on a good couple of matches and they had some good promo segments every so often. So I give the Wyatt Six Damage Control spot. And now it's on to Tag Team of the Year. We have DIY, Awesome Truth, A-Town Down Under, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, MCMG, Motor City Machine Guns, oh my god. The Bloodline, the new Bloodline with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. The War Raiders, Judgment Day, Street Profits, and more Judgment Day. So before was JD and Finn, and this one is Liv and Raquel. I personally took away, I believe, only one, and I replaced the War Raiders with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. I believe them two had a phenomenal summer, being the tag champs while Bianca and Jade were trying to face the adversity of not being champions. I think they did a great job with the time that they were given. I personally believe they were very underrated. They actually made the women's division somewhat interesting when it was only Bianca and Jade really doing it, but them two were very interesting opponents for them. And then once Bash in Berlin happened and Bianca and Jade won the titles back, unfortunately, they kind of threw Alba and Isla down a trash chute, basically. Them two basically were never seen again, it felt like. And Isla obviously got released a couple of weeks ago, so it kind of sucks for her. But yeah, for the summer that they had, I think they did a really good job. And War Raiders, they're not entertaining in the slightest. And sure, they may put on a good match every so often, but Isla and Alba actually had personality. The two War Raider idiots do not. So yeah, I have to give Alba and Isla this spot. And yes, you may be like, what the hell? Why are you not taking away Finn and JD? Finn and JD, their personality was out of this world. I loved their personality personally. Yes, they did not defend the titles as much as you would like them to, but honestly, the Judgment Day backstage segments just carried their spot for them, in my opinion. And I'm not going to take away from people who actually have a personality. That's what WWE is more about anyway. They're more about having a personality and getting over with the fans and all this stuff. But in reality, War Raiders just did not. So that's why I give this spot to the War Raiders. And whether you like Judgment Day or you don't, personally I do. So I left the Judgment Day as is. Now we move on to Feud of the Year. We start with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and I think you can already assume the two that I'm going to remove, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and the Bloodline Saga. I removed, obviously, the two that I just said, Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I replaced one of them with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. This feud has been burning hot for so long, and I absolutely love the two of them. They are just so damn good, and if we're going to be giving things of this year in the Slammy Awards, I'm going to give this feud already in there. This feud is already done so much better than what Finn and Priest did, and Rhea and Liv did. This feud is what both of those feuds should have been. Then I'm going to give another spot to Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Another example of a feud that has already done what Rhea and Liv or Finn and Priest should have done. Braun Strowman is doing an absolutely amazing job at putting over Jacob Fatu, and it's just made Fatu look so good. It's made Strowman look really good. I absolutely love what they're doing with the both of them. So, my opinion, they both deserve this spot. And then last but not least, I removed the Bloodline Saga. I removed all of that because in my opinion, it was a letdown. And I replaced it with Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. That was a phenomenal feud that was putting over Bronson Reed heavily. I absolutely loved it. It was great. Their match at Crown Jewel put Bronson Reed over so much, even though Bronson Reed lost. Go back and watch that feud if you haven't. It's a really, really good feud, and truthfully, it captivated me for the time being because Seth needed something to do, and they did that with him, and Bronson Reed put on a show for him. So I loved it. It was a great feud. Now we move on to NXT Superstar of the Year. We start with Obafemi, then we have Roxanne Perez, then Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia, and Kalani Jordan. Now, I only removed one, and I replaced Kalani Jordan with Stephanie Vaquer. Now, Kalani Jordan may or may not have had a really good year. I know she was the NXT North American champion for a while before Fallon Henley took it from her. So, whatever you want. I think she was the inaugural one as well. So, yes, Kalani Jordan had a good year, but at the same time, I gotta be honest with you, I have not heard her name very much recently at all. I've heard a lot about Stephanie Vaquer ever since she came in, and I've seen Stephanie Vaquer in action. She is really damn good. Just ask Booker T. But yeah, wow, it's just insane how good Stephanie Vaquer is, and now she's the unified WWE champion, so it's just great. She's been really, really good, and the fact that she was not even a finalist on here, but Julia was, come on, like, let's be so for real right now. Stephanie Vaquer deserves to be on here. Now we move on to Match of the Year. We start with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. Then we have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood, Hell in a Cell. Then we have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock at Night 1, Saturday night. And it was basically whoever won this match got Bloodline Rules the next match. So basically if Roman and Rock won, Bloodline Rules the next night, in which they did. Then we have Rhea and Liv at SummerSlam, Gunther and Priest at SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles at Backlash, and men's War Games match. And Bayley versus Io at WrestleMania 40, Sami Zayn versus Gunther at WrestleMania 40, Gunther versus Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin, and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Now, I think I removed the men's War Games match and replaced it with the women's Money in the Bank match. This match does not get enough love, and I was so blown away by how good of a job the women's Money in the Bank match just did. It was so damn good, that match. If you do not remember it, you have to go back. So many women took some gnarly spots. Yes, there might have been a few botches in the match, but shit happens, as some wrestlers say, you know? Like Kevin Owens, for instance, hates when you call him a botch, because it's like, it's just real life. Shit happens, you know? It's not a botch. It's just shit happens. So it's just like, I get it. They practice for this shit and it should not happen. But at the same time, as I said, shit happens. So you can't account for them being absolutely spot on with every single damn thing they do. But either way, I think this match was better than the men's War Games match. I think it definitely deserves its love. And as I said, it's a forgotten match that people do not remember enough. So I hope to bring back some memories of this match. Alright, we're skipping WTF moments because I didn't change anything, and I'm just staying away from that category because it's pretty fucking stupid. But we're going to move on to Social Star of the Year, and we start with the Chelsea Green. She was nominated, and Drew McIntyre. These are the only 2 nominations, and I'm going to add a few nominations. I'm not taking either one of them away. I think they both deserve to be on there, but I'm going to add a few more finalists. First, we have Liv Morgan. I think she 100% deserves to be on here. Just look at all the shit she did over the summer with Dom. Oh my god, social media was blowing up with the 2 of them. They were phenomenal over the summer. But every so often, Rhea Ripley would butt her head in after the summer. Rhea Ripley after SummerSlam was so damn good on Twitter. I mean, the fights that they would have over social media basically carried their feud. I mean, we really would wish that the fights they had on social media would translate to the actual in-ring or promo segments that they would have together, but it never would. I mean, seriously, if they actually allowed these 2 to cook, they would cook, and these 2 would do so damn good. I mean, they roasted the shit out of each other every chance they got on social media, and I don't understand why they're not finalists, but at the same time, I don't understand why any of this stuff was never brought to light during the actual segments that were allowed to them. So I really don't understand that. But next we have Dominic Mysterio. I just said it. I mean, throughout the summer, it basically was Dom gonna like whatever Liv posted about him? Was Dom gonna retweet whatever Liv posted about him? It was constant. Dom was changing his profile picture to match whatever was going on with Liv. It was just such good stuff that I'm so damn surprised that he's not a finalist for social media either. Yes, Drew and Chelsea Green were funny as hell, but these 3 just absolutely cooked over the summer with their feud. And even after SummerSlam, Dom kind of stopped, but Rhea took over and she started doing more stuff, and the Liv and Rhea just kept going at it, and it was just really good between the 3 of them. But yeah, I'm surprised that none of them are actually finalists. But last but not least, we have Kevin Owens. I put Kevin Owens on here purely because of all the segments that he's had where he'll have a car interview and he'll post it before SmackDown may even happen. You know, his stuff is already out on the internet way before the show even starts. And it might be a couple days before the show starts. And he'll even tweet some funny things. It's the things like that. You know, Kevin Owens posted him being outside Sami Zayn's house a few hours before the show even started, if I remember correctly. But things like that, and then they ended up using it in the show. So it's like, I loved things like that. It was just so well done, and it's not given enough praise in my opinion. And now we are on to Breakout Superstar of the Year. First, we start with Braun Breaker. I think he deserves to be on here. Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Obafemi, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer. Now, I personally think Penta should not be on here. I replaced Penta with Damian Priest, and that was it. Everyone else deserved to be on there, but Penta does not deserve to be on here. Damian Priest absolutely broke out this past year. He had a phenomenal year, and yes, he may be on the older side, does not matter. Damian Priest absolutely broke out this year, and Penta has only been here like a month and a half, 2 months. I don't think Penta deserves to be on here already. It makes no sense whatsoever. He hasn't had a long enough stint in WWE to actually have broken out, so it does not make sense for why he's on here. But Damian Priest, in my opinion, absolutely broke out this year, cashing in at WrestleMania, defeating Drew, and ending Drew's historic reign of 5 minutes. That was great stuff. I mean, no one ever thought Drew McIntyre that reign was ever gonna end, because, you know, Drew was so damn dominant during that reign, you know. But yeah, And then he ends up holding the title up until SummerSlam, putting on an absolutely phenomenal match with Gunther. And the betrayal of Finn happened, so you thought bigger things were ahead for him. And then unfortunately, the writing room basically, I don't even know what happened with that writing room, but it's like I don't know, they were all living under a rock or something, because what the hell happened after that? I really don't know. But yeah, Damian Priest deserves to be on this list way more than Penta does. So yeah. Alright, last but not least, we have Male Superstar of the Year. We start with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins. Now, I removed Roman Reigns off this list because Roman Reigns has barely been around this past calendar year, and when he has been, it kind of has felt a little lackluster from what we're used to. So I figured removing Roman Reigns would probably open up a spot for somebody who's actually been around and who's actually had a solid year this year, and I gave it to LA Knight. Now, this could have gone to a multitude of different people. You could have put Bronson Reed on here. I mean, honestly, I had a hard time figuring it out who should actually be on here. You could have given it to Jacob Fatu, but what's not carrying this ranking for Jacob Fatu is the fact that he hasn't been really around a title yet. And same thing with Bronson Reed. LA Knight has won the US title twice now, and honestly, they finally have decided to start kind of pushing LA Knight a little bit in the mid-card. So that's kind of what carried this for me. LA Knight was kind of stuck in purgatory for a while, and now it finally seems like they're kind of doing something with him this year. So that's where he kind of, gets onto this list, is because he's finally doing something, and it seems to be something meaningful for him. And that's really, really good, because now he gets himself onto a Slammy Award finalist list. Now that is everybody that I replaced with who I think should not be on the Slammy Awards finalist list. And personally, I think I probably missed a lot of people, but yeah, I mean, some of them, like the breakout superstars, you could possibly put on the male or female superstar of the year watch list. Honestly, I just wanted to, there was a few names on these lists that I just did not think deserved to be on there over others, and I think that their names should be said, and I think it should be known who I think, or who anyone else thinks should be on here, instead of a few names like that. Now, I would love to know if you guys agree or disagree with what I have to say, and please tell me down below why you agree or disagree, and just, if you do agree with me, tell me who you think actually deserves to be on there. If you agree with who I replaced the person with, or if I didn't use the person you would have used, if you would have used someone else. So please tell me down below, thoughts and comments, what you guys think, and till next time, see ya.